morning to DNV. It's Tony Z, faithbasedgolf.com, and Tony Z, thegarageguy.com. Faith-based golf have these hoodies for Autism Awareness Month, and they have on the back, golf equals God offers love and forgiveness. Hope everybody's had a great weekend, and now that we have daylight savings time, the weather's starting to change. Leo played golf both days. Got a tournament this weekend. Just wanted to talk about faith, fitness, anything that any topic that anyone wants to talk about. I just want to let you know that in my fitness journey, that I've started going to the gym, consistently since the end of, middle to end of November. And I've been going to church consistently as well. Took me over 60 years to do that consistently, but, it's changed my life. I can handle anything. Being a parent in general is sometimes stressful, in all aspects of, taking care of your kids, making sure that your income is good enough to be able to take care of and support your family. But when you have a child with special needs, it's even more difficult. Fabiana does a great job with Nicholas. Fabiana is my wife. We're amicably divorced, but, I think it had a lot to do with the stress of having a child with special needs, and not to blame Nicholas at all, because I love that child just the way he is. I love him just the way he is. So, and I wouldn't trade him for the world, but he is tough. So 4 years ago, we made the hard decision of, separating the kids, and Fabiana stayed in the house with Nicholas. And again, she's done a phenomenal job with him. And then I moved out with Leo, and moved into a 2-bedroom apartment about a mile away. And that decision probably was one of the best decisions we ever did. Leo's flourishing. He's doing well in his golf. He's doing well in school. He's well adjusted. If he were under the same roof as Nicholas, it would have been a different story. Nicholas could be very disruptive, can be up at all hours. It demands a lot of attention. So like I said, when you have a child with special needs, both parents focus on that child with special needs, and you almost let the typical child go out on their own. But later in life, that typical child will, have some resentment or something because you didn't spend time with them. So, out of divine intervention, God told me to put Leo in golf, because I knew he wasn't going to be tall. I'm 5'8" on a good day. I'm not fast or musically inclined, and neither is Fabiana. So I figured, some of the football and basketball and some of the other sports, soccer even, because he did play soccer for a little bit. We're not exactly the primary sports for him. And I'm not a golfer. Never really was a golfer. I golfed a little bit, but when he was 6 years old, back in 2016, he was turning 7, and I put him in golf camp. So anybody who's thinking about putting their kid in golf and was wondering how to do it, I suggest that maybe put him in a summer golf camp. Once they meet other kids, he's playing golf with kids that he's played with since he was 7 years old, 6, 7 years old. So, and that will go on for the rest of his life. And so at the end of the day, I always tell people, even if you've never played golf before, golf's the only sport that you are not in the grandstands watching your kid. You can walk with them, you can talk to them, you can caddy for them, you can, you're spending 4 hours out there, and every course is different. Weather's a factor. It's just amazing to watch them blossom. Leo played golf with four friends of his yesterday, and he's been playing golf with all four of these kids since he was, really small. He's 16 now, and you know, one kid, Joseph Artebedium, him and Leo have a YouTube channel. So go to the YouTube channel, LJ Boys. That's his YouTube channel. And I'm dropping him off at the golf course, a lot, and I'm not dropping them off at the mall. And so at the end of the day, a lot of people will talk about, well, golf's such an expensive sport. And a lot of sports are expensive. Hockey's expensive. Golf obviously is expensive. But God gave you a ball of clay. You got to do something with it, right? Because if you don't, you will be dropping them off at the mall. They don't have any skills or direction where they're going. They might not hang around the right people. In golf, they're always hanging around the right people, right? And then don't complain if you have a 23-year-old living in your basement with no direction. So I always say invest early so you don't have to pay late. Because if you don't invest early, you'll be paying late, and you'll have that 23-year-old with no direction in your basement. The golf also promotes great grades and good manners. I always say it's parenting autopilot. It's autonomous parenting. Everything that golf teaches my son or any kid is better than any parenting a parent can do. Okay? Integrity, honesty, getting over adversity, all those things, patience, all those things have been tremendous. Not to mention, like I said, every golf course is different. Leo and I have had some tremendous memories. We've created some amazing memories, which I'll always cherish. And, he's played Torrey Pines, North and South. He's played Doral. He's played Harbor Town. He's played every course at Pinehurst except for number 10. He's played Congressional here locally. He's played Lakewood, Woodmont. We belong to Argyle, Manor. I mean, he's played all the local, pretty much country clubs. It's nothing but a pleasure to be his parent, and I love it when other parents say, "God, you're so well behaved." He's so polite. And his friend Joseph, the LJ Boys, incredibly great kid. And any parent that puts their child in golf makes parenting so much easier. I'm telling you, and you don't have to play golf to do it. So if you need help putting your child in a sport, I'll help you. 301-661-1271. And I also have the faith-based golf. And I noticed, here's faith-based golf, like I said, and I created this website. Leo and I created this website because we realized that God is very, present in the golfing community, golfing world, especially down south, and a lot of people on the PGA Tour and the Live Tour. I can maybe Zach Johnson, Scotty Scheffler, Ben Crane, Webb Simpson. They have a YouTube channel called Bible Caddies, which is fantastic. And and the people who are just not normal, not PGA Tour golfers, but like Mark Wahlberg, Chris Pratt. They have that. They promote Halo, and so everybody's kind of. I feel like loving God used to be something people would not talk about, and I think it's really amazing that people do talk about it now, and they're not ashamed of saying that their Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ. They're not ashamed of saying that they go to church. I go to church twice a week now, at least once a week, and I would say faith and fitness, God in the gym, and God in the gym and golf, and no matter what adversity is coming your way, that will wipe the anxiety away, because it's in God's hands. And if you're a good person, good heart, things will fall into place sooner or later. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I've had things happen to me sometimes, and I'm just like, I can't believe that that happened, and it's because God's looking out. He's looking out, you know. So just have faith, because you know, I like I said, I wasn't a golfer, so God put me in front of golf and helped me put Leo into golf. You know, Nicholas is you know difficult, but you know we smother him with kisses, we smother him with love, and he is the sweetest boy you ever seen. He's 19 now. He'll be 20 at the end of April, and he's a sweetheart, you know. And you know, yeah, I think that you have to, you know, when he acts up, it's frustration that he can't communicate. I'm sure. I relate it to like I wish I can get in his brain, you know, like it's that's what the frustrating part about autism is, that when a child is born with autism, you think you have a perfectly normal child. You know, you don't have any idea. You're just as happy as anyone else. On the other hand, if you have a child, let's say with Down syndrome, you know before it's born, you're prepared. But with autism, you're not. And then it's almost like a guessing game. And you're saying at 15 months, 18 months, 2 years old, hey, he's not hitting his milestones. Fabiana was very intuitive in this regard. You know, some people are in denial. You know, some people will, you know, one of the spouses will say, you know, I think there's something wrong with, you know, their son, or, you know, it's much more prevalent in boys or daughter, but they'll say something's wrong. And then the other parent will say, no, there's nothing wrong with them, you know, and it's okay to overcheck. It's okay to find out that there's nothing wrong with them, but it's not okay to deny it, you know. So you're better off being cautious. And so when Fabiana made, you know, was concerned about Nicholas at about 15 to 18 months, I was like, hey, I don't think he's autistic, but, you know, do whatever you need to do to, you know, ease your mind. And same with my parents and my in-laws. You know, my parents are no longer with us. I miss them every day. And my father-in-law is no longer around either. Only have one grandparent for my kids, and hopefully she stays around for a while. Anyway, so at the end of the day, if you have any, you know, concerns, you know, always side with caution. You know, I would always, you know, say, hey, let's check it out, right? I can tell you this: Nicholas is very autistic, but in his younger years, and he wasn't that difficult. The most difficult part of autism, especially a nonverbal child, is when they hit puberty. When they hit puberty, it's the hormones with the autism combination that is a massive heavy cocktail. And Nicholas was no different, you know. So he, you know, would have rages. He'd, you know, hit walls. He'd hit, you know, broke some PV sets. You know, I got a scar here. It's probably, I don't know, 8 years old or more, you know, and where he bit me. Um, I call it a love bite because you know, it's my Nicholas. So, um, and we've had to institutionalize him a couple times up in Shepherd Pratt up in Baltimore. And that, you know, the thing is about autism too is you love your child, and he makes a lot of noises, and he makes, you know, causes a big ruckus, and it drives you crazy. But when you institutionalize him once for 5 weeks, another time for 3 weeks, and the house is quiet, it's just as crushing. It's just as it's even more crushing. You miss the noises. So you're never winning. You love them so much that you miss the noises. You know, when I go over and visit him, and I get in the house and he's in another room and I just hear the noises, I know he's there and I love him, you know. His brother Leo is, again, fantastic. He's growing up adjusted. He's in 10th grade at Walt Whitman High School in Bethesda. He's on the golf team. He plays golf as much as he possibly can. If in the wintertime, he's hitting simulators over at the PGA Superstore. Um, he's, and as the weather's breaking, he goes to the golf course, and, even when the weather wasn't breaking, if there's no snow on the ground, he would, bundle up compressors, jacket, like vest and, beanie and, load up and play golf. These kids are, not only is he obsessed, is the friends he's around are obsessed, so they're all obsessed together. And, they want to go to college and play golf. They all want to be on the PGA Tour. I can tell you this. I always tell people, and I want to encourage Leo, obviously, if he wants to be on the PGA Tour, obviously it's a very, very difficult path. I always tell him it's you got about this bit of a chance, right, to get on the PGA Tour. But you have this big of a chance to do something in the golf industry. So you could work for Titleist, Callaway, TaylorMade, any of the big companies, PXG, whatever it is. Or you can be a general manager at a country club. You could be a club pro. You could be a groundskeeper or whatever. You could be on the PGA Tour as a rules official. You could be there's so many other aspects. You could work for a financial company that promotes golf, and you're the best golfer on the sales team. And you know what? When they have a good client that wants to play golf, who are they going to send? So it's always going to serve you well. It's the only sport also that you can literally play until you die. You can play for the rest of your life. You could be a hell of a soccer player, hell of a football player, but you're not playing it at 50 years old. But with golf, you can. 2 years ago, not this last year, but 2 years ago, Leo was in Maryland States. He's in it every year, but 2 years ago, he was in Maryland States, and he did a practice round the day before. And, it was University of Maryland, and they have, members and stuff like that. And he played a practice round with a member there. The guy was 99 years old. I couldn't believe it. So I was like, what other sport? What other sport? God bless everybody. I don't want to keep this too long. It's a little bit gotten a little long as it is. Faith and fitness, God in the gym, God, the gym, and golf. Put your kids in golf. If you need any help, 301-661-1271. Again, go to my website, faithbasedgolf.com. I have a 7G hoodie coming in too. Again, I'm showing it to them on my phone. I haven't put it on the site yet, but the 7G hoodie, it looks like and t-shirts from 7G. I did it in the Augusta National Green. If you can see that. And then the 7Gs is God, grace, golf, gym, grit, grateful, grind, and I already said grace. So, and they'll come in several colors: orange, and red. Blue, black, white. There's the orange and red front. So that's what 7Gs represents. There's the other colors. There's the other colors right there. Okay. And so, yeah, you can give me a call, 301-661-1271. Most of my stuff is made to order. So if you want something, I can, you call me, I'll get it ordered. And, the t-shirts are $45. The 7G t-shirts are $45. The 7G hoodies are $85. And the autism hoodies, which also come in white, are $75. So the white ones, here's Leo with the white, and then the back. Okay, and there's the white. So I've had people order it in the white as well. So, and I'm getting one in white too. I have the blue one on today. But hope everybody has a wonderful Monday. Hope everyone has a blessed week. And thank you for listening in. I hope I know need to be more consistent on these lives. So God bless you, and hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Monday and week ahead. Thank you.